The Adventure Time episode, Fionna and Cake and Fionna, will explain everything about the upcoming Fionna and Cake series, and let me tell you why. But first, let me give you a little brief recap of the episode to get you all caught up. It starts off with a classic Finn, Jake, and BMO escapade.
And angry, no shy. Shark baby!
Riding down a river with Jake morphed into a dinghy, Finn slays water goals morphing into his wildest thoughts, from giant sandwiches to angry pretzels, while questioning the very nature of boredom. But just when they vow to never do anything boring again.
Let's never do anything boring ever again.
Yes, let's never do anything boring ever again.
BMO's alarm signals the onset of Ice King's dreadfully dull Fionna and Cake fanfiction reading at the library. Reluctantly, our trio attend Ice King's public reading, and as expected, no applause.
The end.
But just when we thought this was another delusional evening for Ice King, a voice from the shadows claims he got it all wrong. Enter an older Fionna, who dramatically emerges from behind a potted plant and declares she can prove the real story. Fionna plays a tape that takes us on an adventure with her and Cake, complete with door-breaking eyes and eye-rolling puns. They discover a mysterious sarcophagus. Tension builds, but the tape abruptly ends, leaving everyone in suspense.
Was it real?
Who's filming all that?
Needs more hunks!
Ice King is so enthralled that he invites Fionna to live with him, which she happily accepts. Our new Fionna starts taking over Ice King's home, sending Finn and Jake into the background. But where's Cake? She dodges the question, citing a traumatic past. However, Ice King's curiosity gets the better of him. Sneaking the tape away from a sleeping Fionna, he learns the shocking truth. The big reveal? Our Fionna is an imposter. The imposter reveals that one evening, she intercepted a strange signal. She was mesmerized.
I watched that tape like 100 times before I finally stepped out of my cave. A new woman determined to find more Fionna and Cake.
She roamed Ooh for years with no luck. She also reveals that Fionna and Cake aren't real.
They're just like a TV show from the past or something.
A confrontation ensues and both realize their flaws, feeling a sense of betrayal and self-discovery. Just when we had thought the chapter was closed, a mysterious red beam shines from the sky onto Ice King's head, flashing images of Fionna and Cake. What does this tell us about the upcoming Fionna and Cake series? Well, it's all about how the old lady even came across the Fionna and Cake tapes in the first place. The old lady, who we know was an avid tinkerer and someone highly curious,
Tinkering with my tech stuff all night.
probably detected the signals caused by the red beam. She might have set up a device to capture or decode this red beam, accidentally intercepting the stories meant for the Ice King. But then why does she say that Fionna and Cake are
Just like a TV show from the past or something.
And
aren't real, you ding-dong.
well, despite her fascination with Fionna and Cake's stories, she never came across any artifacts, locations, or beings that directly corresponded with what she saw in said stories.
I roamed Ooh for years with no luck.
This absence of tangible evidence would have strengthened her belief that they were part of an old TV show, and nothing more. Also, since she captured the stories using a device designed to intercept signals, she probably associated the stories with other broadcast content she had intercepted before, such as other TV shows. Okay, so if that's how she came across them, by intercepting the red beam on accident or on purpose, then what even is the source of this red beam? Who is beaming these Fionna and Cake stories into the Ice King's head? And why? Could this source be a someone or something we will meet or hear about in the Fionna and Cake spin-off series? Well, at first, I thought red and red. This has to be from the new red guy we see in the trailer. Think about it. The red guy is very obviously upset at Fionna and Cake for being in the wrong universe.
You two are a disease.
And constantly hunts them down throughout the entire trailer. So he has some sort of multiversal correctional job. Given that, it would make sense that he could have the power to beam these stories of Fionna and Cake from a different universe into the Ice King's head in the Land of Ooh universe. But then I got to thinking, why would he do this? What motives does the red guy have? And then I started to quickly backtrack, because he would have no reason to beam these stories of Fionna and Cake into the Ice King's head. In fact, fact, it would end up being more of a nuisance for him, considering the fact that he is literally chasing them down throughout the entire trailer. So I scrapped that idea and started from scratch. I started to think about the why. Who in this series would want Ice King to retrieve these stories of Fionna and Cake? I couldn't think of anyone in the Adventure Time original series, but someone popped into my head that we see from the Fionna and Cake sneak peek and trailer. This little girl, who we don't know the name of yet, is in love with the stories of Fionna and Cake. Remember, this is after the events of Come Along With Me, and the Ice King got saved from the Ice Crown and reverted back to Simon. Wherever he lives now, he ends up keeping the Fionna and Cake stories that the Ice King wrote, and this little girl stumbles upon them, reads all of them, and falls head over heels with Fionna and Cake. However, after the Ice King reverted back to Simon, he stopped writing the Fionna and Cake stories because Simon didn't write them, the Ice King did. In fact, he grows to hate anything related to the Ice King. Now, from the sneak peek, we see Simon throwing these stories away and closing the door, and the little girl is very obviously upset. Then, in the trailer, she even asks Simon why he doesn't keep making these stories anymore.
Why did you stop writing Fionna and Cake stories?
I didn't write those. Ice King wrote those.
This little girl is in love with Fionna and Cake, and with no new material coming out, how does she quench her thirst for new Fionna and Cake stories? That's right, she finds a way to beam new stories of Fionna and Cake into the Ice King's head, causing the Ice King to write more stories and new stories to appear in Simon's house. This gives us a pretty solid why, but how in the world is this possible? How could this little girl possibly send these visions of Fionna and Cake to the Ice King from the past? This brings a whole new set of complications. But once you dive into the glimpses of the new land of Ooo seen in the trailer and sneak peek, the pieces start to fit together. We're not just talking about a fresh coat of paint here. This is a world that's undergone a massive upgrade in technological prowess. Just look at all of the tech marvels and futuristic landscapes. Now, given this leap in technology, it's not just likely, but practically inevitable that this new Ooo would have developed stuff like time travel and mind-beaming technologies. Sure, these aren't toys for the everyday person, but that's exactly why our little protagonist definitely had to pull some secret maneuvers to get her hands on this tech. This covert operation, in fact, probably sets the stage for how she starts mingling with Fionna and Cake in the first place. Infatuated by the use of extraordinary technology she's not authorized to access, she inevitably stumbles upon a device that can drag characters from alternate universes right into her own world. And voila, she orchestrates her extraordinary meetup with Fionna and Cake. This may sound like a big stretch, but hear me out. Let's go back to the episode in question, Fionna and Cake and Fionna, to truly understand what this episode means for the new Fionna and Cake spin-off series. This episode is a mind-bender, not just for the sake of it. It fundamentally asks what makes something real. Is it its tangibility, its influence, or perhaps its meaning to those who perceive it? Remember, Finn starts the episode questioning the very essence of boredom.
What if life was always just constant fun times in the river?
Not only that, but they are literally fighting monsters who transform into what they are thinking about. When the old lady, posing as an older Fionna, talks about Fionna and Cake as characters from an old TV show, she is essentially questioning their reality from her point of view. Now let's think about how this applies to the upcoming spin-off. What if the show is setting us up for a narrative that explores these themes of the very nature of reality and how we perceive it head on? Sound familiar? The new land of Ooo has obviously gone through a technological renaissance, one where the borders between reality, fiction, and alternate realities might be more blurred than ever. In the spin-off, we could be taken on a journey where the new protagonists, such as the yet unnamed little girl and Simon, come to question the meaning and significance of Fionna and Cake, just like the old lady did. However, unlike the old lady who resigned them to be fictional characters because she couldn't find tangible evidence, this little girl, empowered by new technologies and sheer will, tries to make them real by pulling them into her universe. And in doing so, she not only makes Fionna and Cake real in her dimension, but also validates the idea that reality is, to a large extent, a construct influenced by our beliefs, our technologies, and most importantly, our stories. This was actually a pretty well established idea in the Adventure Time universe already. The idea that merely thinking of something can manifest it into reality, essentially birthing a new universe where those thoughts take form, was already the widely accepted belief of what Fionna Cake is, and this just confirms it. This makes the old lady's quest for authenticity and the little girl's search for new stories two sides of the same coin. One resigned to the limitations of her perception, and the other not willing to settle for anything less than bending the fabric of reality to expand her universe, literally. So how does the episode Fionna Cake and Fionna explain everything? Because it tells us that what we're about to witness isn't just an adventure, but an existential exploration of what makes something real, how stories shape our understanding of the universe, and how technology could potentially help or hinder our journey to find what's real. That is why this episode may just be the key to understanding the fascinating new directions that the Fionna Cake spinoff could take.